Is this about karma? Hi, I'm Ann Margaret with this week's Sacred Sunday message to raise the vibration of your body, mind, and spirit. You may notice that I'm not in my typical environment. I am still helping my mom and dad because my mom had a hip uh, fracture about 4 weeks ago. So thanks for so much for joining me in this beautiful nature environment. You might hear some birds, some bunnies, ducks, all kinds of wildlife out here. But it's a wonderful time just to reflect on a Sunday on this concept of karma. So we hear karma in a way, and sometimes we link it to people thinking about it like past life and past life karma. I know one of my favorite songs growing up was Indigo Girls, Galileo, and I remember in that song they said, some other fool across the ocean years ago must have crashed his little airplane. And it was all about how does our soul make it right? Like, how do we go through our life and learn the lessons that we need to learn? And I want to challenge us today to not think of karma as just like a past life thing or something like that. Some of us don't believe in past lives. So, how do we reconcile this concept of karma and have it be practical in our day-to-day spirituality, making it accessible to understand how it impacts our life on a daily basis? So in this talk, I'm going to cover what's called we're going to cover karma, but we're going to also talk about prolonged karma. We're going to talk about instant karma, and then we're also going to talk about how our own self-esteem and the priority or our value system really shapes how we move through the world. Okay, so let's get started. At the end, we'll pull a couple intuition cards to access that subconscious mind as well. So many times when we think about karma, we think about, ooh, karma's going to come and get you, almost like it's God punishing you or the universe coming back to give you the slap in the face, or hoping that other people will receive the karma that they deserve because they wronged you. Okay, this concept of karma doesn't work in such a negative way, and I don't believe God does either. So it's not about God punishing you. It's about our soul desiring to learn the lessons and the wisdom and the insight, the perspective that we really desire to move through in this life. Our soul is here to learn. So it's the difference between the soul and the ego, okay? Our ego desires comfort, security, to be right, to have control. The soul itself is here to grow, to evolve, to expand, to transform, to truly experience the full gamut of this human experience. So I asked a question in the description: is the ego in control or is the soul in control? Is the ego the master or is the soul the master? And within that question, we find how we operate in the world. So let's back up. Let's start first. So karma is not punishment. Karma is an opportunity for our soul to learn. It might be some sort of, the question I asked is if you deny the natural law of cause and effect. Cause and effect is something that we know if we do something, there's going to be an effect to it. If we plant a certain seed and we forget to nurture it, that seed will never grow. If we pour, I remember, I think it was in 8th grade at a science project with my dad, an acid rain project. And what we did is we took 2 plants and we let the one plant grow and nurtured it with sunlight and water, and we put chemicals on the other plant as a sign of how acid rain affects our environment. And wouldn't you know, the one plant that we put, the vinegar and the chemicals and everything like that on ended up perishing, and the other one thrived. Now, that taught my little 8th grade brain that obviously cause and effect, how we treat others, how we treat the world around us, how we let our thoughts impact our day-to-day reality. All of this has an effect. So with karma, we talk about a prolonged karma and we talk about instant karma. So let's talk about that for a moment. So prolonged karma, if you deny the natural law of cause and effect, you will get a prolonged karma somewhere down the road. If you forget, obviously everybody knows about if you're not eating right or taking care of your physical body, somewhere down the road you will not have a very good karmic output or response from your body, and it will begin to break down much faster than if you took care of it day to day. Very simple example of prolonged karma. What about instant karma though? because some of us have a very difficult time doing what's right because we're not getting the instant gratification, right? So how do we get that instant karma? How does our soul get the instant feed and the instant satisfaction from doing the right thing? We have this myth about us, I believe, as humans, that we think that we have to tell people what is right or wrong in order for them to truly move through the world in a kind and just manner. But if we can truly connect with ourselves and recognize the impact on us when we are hurting somebody else, when we're doing something that's unjust in the world, yes, it'll have a prolonged karmic entanglement. Yes, if you do wrong, if you cheat somebody, or if you hurt somebody, or if you lie, you steal, you do these things that are taught through a lot of religions as the guiding principles of our life. If you do these things and you violate these moral values, you do have impact later on. You have to clean up such a huge mess that you made rather than just keeping your integrity from the start. However, if we consider the dichotomous coexistence of our, and I know those are two big words, our dichotomous, something that's seemingly opposite, coexistence, they coexist, they're seemingly opposites, but they coexist, of our separateness and our oneness, then we can begin to understand what this instant karma is all about. Okay, so let's break this down for a moment. Our separateness. Yes, we move through the world separately, but those who intentionally wrong others, those who cheat other people or steal or hurt other people or bully, they are more in subscription to the separateness of our experience. They think, oh, it's not going to affect me. I'm just going to survival of the fittest, do what's best for me, and disregard other people or the impact of my actions on others. They're more in the subscription to the separateness and less connected to that oneness. We know that we're having a separate experience, but we also know that we're all deeply connected to one another. So how do we reconcile both of those? If the person who's perpetrating the negativity or the unjust behavior is not connected to the fact that we're all connected, that what I do impacts you, what you do impacts me, then we're not going to feel that instant karma. If we don't feel the instant karma and we're not guided by that light of morality, that light of value in our life, then our prolonged karma is going to come back with a vicious whip. It's going to come back with even more of a vengeance. And it's not, remember, you're not getting punished. It's about learning the lessons of how your soul can come more in alignment with your true purpose, more in alignment with God, universe, love, the frequency, whatever name you give that, it doesn't matter. To me, how does this apply to you personally? So if your soul is disconnected to others, you're going to operate out of a very selfish existence. And in the end, the universe has a way of finding balance. Nature, I'm surrounded by nature right now, has a way of finding balance, of striking balance. And a beautiful teaching from Confucius says, what the superior man seeks is in himself. What the small man seeks is in others. We want to seek a higher frequency within ourselves so that we can stand on a foundation, a self-esteem of integrity, of feeling true inner pride for operating in the world as a just human being, of treating others as we wish to be treated. And when we do that, we get a sense of empowerment in our lives that nobody can take from us. And if we operate outside of integrity, nobody can fix that but us. But no one can clean up our mess. We can be in denial of treating our bodies unfairly or unjustly. We can be in denial that we are operating and treating others unfairly or unjustly. We can be in denial that we're not doing really what our soul is here to do, that we're disregarding that voice of intuition or the guiding force of God or the universe. And if we're in denial of all of that, that prolonged karma, it comes back with a vengeance, and we realize that we are really needing to dig ourselves out of a very deep hole. If we can listen to that inner barometer, that inner compass guiding us, that inner light, that reminds us that we are separate. Yes, we're having a separate experience, but we're also very connected. And if what I do impacts another, if we can follow that instant karmic outcome and that guiding light, then we can choose what's right without having somebody dictate what's right and wrong for us. What's right or wrong for us, if we are looking through that veil of oneness, is right for everyone else as well. If we are taking care of ourselves, filling up our own cup, putting on our own face mask before helping others, then we are not creating a void in our own energetic field for other people to come clean up. Making sense? All right, so beautiful. So self-esteem and priorities. If your ego is master of your soul, this is where we get into the separateness. So we talk about the ego, and I put in a couple essential oils into the notes of this live because it's very helpful if we're feeling karmically entangled with others. It's very important to protect what I keep pointing to called the solar plexus, okay? This helps to protect our energy from getting deeply entangled like a knot with another human being. So many times, those of us who are well-intentional, well-intended, will go and we'll try and help somebody. We'll try and help somebody or be really generous with somebody. I know I've had this happen in my life. I have so many friends and family members who have experienced this in their own life, where you go and you have the best of intentions and you're trying to fix something for somebody else. Have you had this experience? Yes? So if you're trying to fix something for somebody else, you're denying them the opportunity to grow the own strength within them to realize the power that they have in a healthy egoic relationship. Ego is different from soul. Our soul comes here to learn lessons. Our soul does not come here to be comfortable. Our soul does not come here to feel pleasure all the time and have everybody bow down to our whims. Our soul comes here to grow and strengthen in purpose and interconnectedness with this human journey, recognizing the true gift that this is. Our ego comes here to be right, to dictate, to guide, to be the guiding force. It's not the evil one, all right? So we're not saying the ego is evil. We're saying that the ego has helped our soul navigate this human journey, but has pitfalls of getting stuck in our addiction to being right, our addiction to looking good, our addiction to wanting to control or dominate others. Our soul reminds us that the ego is simply there to help us navigate the personality or the spirit that is drawing the soul through into this human experience. Let me say that again. Our ego is here to help our soul embody in a personality and in our spirit form who others people see in the world as we show up, so that our soul can have the experience it desires. Okay? So why am I talking about ego and soul relationship to karma? If our ego is in control of our soul and master of our soul, we will keep learning these karmic lessons, instant and prolonged, and we'll keep getting caught up in other people's drama. We'll get caught up in other people's karmic entanglements. We'll get caught up in other people's soul's desire to learn, rather than keeping the autonomous boundaries that we need to have to know how to navigate our own journey. Easier said than done, I know, okay? So remember, we want to seek what's in ourselves. We want to seek to upgrade our own frequency, our own vibration, rather than trying to fix everything around us. People will learn the lessons that they need to learn. And if you're getting pleasure out of that, that's the egoic's addiction to dominance, to control. So if you're feeling pleasure out of other people's pain, let your soul remind you that you're on this journey and that person is on their journey. Their lessons are unfolding the way that they need to unfold, and they're learning. They're doing the best that they can with what they've got. One common mistake out of anybody who's on this journey is expecting that other people are going to be right there with you. So let's pull some intuition cards real quick. I know I'm running out of time here, so if you need some one-on-one coaching, just reach out to me, and Women's Circle is next weekend. So let's pull our archetype card for today. Healer. This is a perfect example of how we get stuck in controlling other people's journeys, right? So keep that autonomy, and let's pull a goddess card here. Vast, independent, king being that autonomy. All right, you guys, Keep that karmic independence. Remember, instant karma is that guiding force. Feel free to share this, guys. And until next time, keep raising the vibration. Bye, everybody.